I want to start with a quick snapshot of my overall impressions of this book. It is a unique story with a compelling, authentic, layered lead character. The book does become kind of tedious at the halfway point, but if you're willing to continue, it ends with a satisfying conclusion and is certainly worth the read. First things first, we've got a new setup. We're working on some new things. I don't know if I like it. If you've seen some of the last videos, I've been trying out some new things. I've got a new light. I've got a new camera. I've got a new microphone that is now in frame because it has to be, because I can't figure out another way for it to go. Let me know if you like the setup in the comments down below. But let's talk about what we came here to talk about. That is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I have not read any of her other books. Also, Schwab. Not that there's anything wrong with the last name Schwab, but that's a strong name. Schwab. She did the Shades of Magic series. She did the Villains series. I don't know if either of those are complete. I haven't read either one. I've been most intrigued by the Shades of Magic series, but haven't read it because of some of the conflicting reports and reviews that I had read or had talked to some of my other reader friends. And so I kind of have stayed away, although now I'm a little bit more interested. This is her newest book. It's not a part of either of those series. Currently, it is a standalone novel. Maybe she'll do a series out of it. I kind of miss the days where we used to just have standalone fantasy novels. Maybe this will be one of them. I think it would work really good for a standalone novel. The plot of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue really, really worked for me, and it was the thing that kind of drew me in instantly. So check this out. It's 1714, and young Addie LaRue is pledged to be married. In fact, it might even be her wedding day. She's about to be married to a man that she does not want to have anything to do with. And in a desperate plea for this independence that she's craving, she prays to a god who only answers after dark. Doesn't that sound ominous? What's even more ominous is that someone answers, and Adeline makes a deal with this entity that answers, and she receives the independence that she's craving, yet at a cost. Adeline will be granted her independence for many, many lifetimes, but she will be instantly, completely forgotten by everyone the second they turn away from her. And that really begins the story. We've got kind of jumps back and forwards in time as we see Adeline, the moments after she makes this pact, this deal, and the years that follow. So we travel some through the 1700s, maybe even some of the early 1800s, and then her present day life, I think it's set in like 2013, something like that, New York City. As she lives for many centuries, she is able to understand her curse a little bit more, but she has become the loneliest person on earth and in history until the fateful day that happens, maybe about a quarter of the way through the book, a little bit more than that, when someone remembers her name. Even me talking about it right now, it's kind of exciting. Like, it sounds really, really good, and it's a really good premise. And here's the thing. Schwab did a great job at giving us that protagonist in Adeline, who then determines that she wants to be called Addie, gives us a really compelling, real authentic character to identify with, even though we can't identify with her curse, even though we can't identify with her living through dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of years longer than what any human has any right to. We can still relate in many ways, and it's fun and compelling to be able to follow her story and see how it evolves. But Schwab does something interesting, and again, about a quarter of the way through the book, she gives us a brand new POV. So really, about 25% of the book, we're only seeing through Addie's eyes, but then at the 25% mark, they give us a new character, and she wants us to care about this character just as much, but I never did. I never cared about this secondary protagonist near as much as I did of Addie. And then because of the really cyclical nature of her curse and the way that Schwab told the story by showing us kind of this 1700s and then the present day and then the, back and forth like that, it became quite tedious because not only we were doing that with Addie's story, we also were doing that with the secondary character, Henry by the name. We were doing that with his story as well. It was still interesting enough that I was able to continue powering through, and I'm so glad that I did because it it was a very good conclusion and a good satisfying ending. I would say, especially knowing now the complete story, that it is most certainly a read, a good, easy read that many people would really enjoy. Again, I don't know much about V.E. Schwab's other works to be able to compare or contrast it, but I would say that it is a good standalone novel with a good, compelling character. There's not a wide cast of characters that you have to keep up with, but definitely a good story that is told really, really well. I rated it 4 stars out of 5, and really, if the pacing was a little bit better and a little bit less monotonous there at the halfway point, then it would have probably bumped up to a 5 star. When I've been going through a few other reviews of this story, I've heard that people either had a difficulty starting it or at that middle part that I'm talking about. I was instantly sucked in, so it wasn't difficult for me to get in, but at that middle point, I did feel that a little bit. So do know that if you're going into this book, that there might be a little hurdle either to start or in the middle part, but it's most certainly worth continuing to push through and read it. Well, those are my thoughts about The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. What did you think? Would love to know your impressions of the book. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Was it too tedious for you? Or was the main character compelling enough for you to continue? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching and for liking this video, for supporting this channel and all that we're doing here. We have surpassed the 500 mark, moving on up to 1,000. Come on, let's do it by the end of the year. Let's do something crazy and have 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you for every single one of you that have already subscribed, that share this channel with others, that retweet anything that goes out. I appreciate everything that you've done to support this channel in the little under a year that it has been around. If you haven't yet, click the like button, and we'll see you in the next video.